model of writing has never been taught in your English classes before.
This is what we're doing.
Okay, most of you raise your hand if this is review. Okay,
This is 100%.
it's a little bit of both. Well, that's what it should be. It should be progressing with each year. Why do we spend so much time talking about claims? Because we're going to talk about claims a little bit again today. Bradley, why?
Because the claim is like your entire thing. So this is what I've been taught. That your claim should literally, by a sentence, basically be your essay. And
Okay.
so, you know, if I'm like, I don't like pie because it's not cake and it's not pancakes and it's not waffles, you know, then you'll understand, oh, that's why he doesn't like pie. But if you want more detail on why pie is not pancakes, you can, you know, you go and read.
Is everyone following Bradley?
Yes.
I agree.
I just want to make sure that the pie analogy was working. Okay, so this goes along with what Bradley was saying. A claim states your position on an issue you have chosen to write about. So rule number one, a claim has to be arguable. Okay? Now let's talk about the difference between persuasive writing and argumentative writing because they're different. And a lot of times students think that they're the same thing. Persuasive writing, you're trying to convince someone to take your position, to do something, to take action for or against something. With argumentative writing, you're arguing your side and you want to present them with facts where they can say, yeah, that's a valid argument. You're not trying to convince them that you're right. You're not trying to convince them to take action against something. You just want them to see your side of the argument. And you're presenting them with evidence to let them know that that is the case. Okay? So, let's review. We're not going to spend a ton of time on claim because we've talked about it for the last week. But let's review. A good claim is not obvious. Why bother proving a point nobody can disagree with? A good claim is engaging. Consider your audience's attention span and make interesting claims which point out new ideas and teach the reader something new. You don't want your claim to be too vague. If it's overly vague, what does that tell your reader? Doesn't tell them anything. Can you accomplish vague in, how long are academic essays usually that you turn in for your English teachers?
5 pages,
On average.
5 pages.
2 pages to what?
5.
To 5 pages. Okay, if you take on a really broad claim statement that's overly vague, can you accomplish that in 2 to 3 pages of writing? Not usually. Okay? So the more specific your claim, the better off you are being able to accomplish that. So that's why it says refrain from making book-size claims. Claims are logical, and they emerge from reasonable consideration of evidence. In other words, you don't want it to be coming out of left field and you're not going to be able to prove it. It should be something that is reasonable and within, reasonable bounds of your reader to be able to agree with. Okay? Lastly, it should be debatable and it should never be a simple sentence. What does that mean, a simple sentence? This kind of goes back to the grammar that you learned in elementary and middle school.
Predicate.
Okay, subject, predicate. Why can a claim not be a simple sentence?
Dogs are cute.
Is that
That's
debatable?
a claim right there. I
Yes.
love dogs.
It is.
But that's a simple sentence.
But it is a simple sentence. Why isn't that a good claim, Robin?
Well, you can't build off that. Like what Bradley was saying with he expanded on the fact why he didn't like pie. He didn't just say, I don't like pie.
Right.
That's not a good claim sentence because it's a lot of claims have 3 points because we're so used to writing 3-paragraph essays. So we outline what our 3 points are going to be and you know what the next 3 paragraphs are going to be on because you outlined it in your claim. So if it's just dogs are cute, it's what are you going to talk about for the rest of the thing? You need to say reasons why.
That brings me to another example, though. Do we have to have the 3 things?
That was just an example. Of
No, and I like that. That's just, you bring it up and it's perfect point to dispel that, the myth that you have to have the 3 subjects of your body paragraph in your claim statements. It's kind of like training wheels. Didn't we talk about this last week? The training wheels, you got to eventually lose your training wheels and write, claim statements that don't fall back on that formula. But at the very least, if it is a formulaic claim statement, is it still a claim statement?
If it's a formulated one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Also,
is. You're still gonna have a claim, but it doesn't have to have that formula to it. Yes.
you also can't argue with Robin's claim.
You don't think you can argue that dogs aren't cute?
Absolutely, you cannot.
All
I
right.
love dogs so much.
Debatable though, debatable.
Yeah.
All right, here's what I want you to do.
It's still cute.
It's a dog, my dog.
Dude, there's slobbering.
Before we get to how you prove your claim, I want you to get into the groups that you normally get with, the 3 to 4 people sitting around you, and I want you to take each of the following sentences, and I want you to discuss which of the following sentences makes a good claim. As you read through each of these with your group, I want you to talk about what is good about it, what's not good about it, what makes it a claim, what doesn't make it a claim, and what needs to change or what information needs to be added to it or taken away from it in order to make this sentence a claim statement. Okay, groups of 3 or 4, go.
Okie dokie.
I'm going to ask you guys to share out.
That's okay. Are we moving our desks and everything?
Cluster together.
You're fine.
You can do it.
Drinking back tea, so.
Okay, you're going through each of the claim statements, or each of the sentences rather, discussing if it is or isn't a claim, what's good about it, what's not great about it, what needs to change.
So I'm telling you. I drink right? And so I was like, I'll be better in the morning.
Yeah, you can't argue. It's more of a.
Should we maybe say why?
It's more of
So I'm sick. I'm sick, so that's. This is true.
Sorry, on the first one? So you can do whole show that today more minorities of races than ever before.
The third one is what?
Yeah, that's a mistake.
It's
Okay.
too much.
So it's a claim statement.
It's an opinion.
Yeah.
Be like,
Okay, so
Ophelia
what's
is the
missing?
most. Be like,
Strive.
Ophelia is the most.
Remember how we talked about that so what factor about things like so what, what's important about it? Think about that with claim statements. Is it missing a so what? What's significant? Why does this matter? What does this show us?
Yeah, I need more.
But it gives
That's more of like a. I feel like that's more of a statement. That's something I was trying to.
Strive with every ounce for a national vigor.
I can be like.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like one of the things you say before.
And she is fine.
You're trying to make it that those are three things. Yeah, no, it's not phrased that way. So it says we must strive with every ounce for a national vigor to ensure that America has the right things. Now, like, is that already Is that debatable? Some people say that no. Okay, so it's not the debatable factor. Definitely taking a stance, right? It's taking a side. Well, what does it last? I will strive with every ounce of national security to ensure that America has the right to Why? Yes, exactly. Why? Why do we need to? Why do we need to?
in order to blah, blah, blah.
And it's Okay, yeah, in order to,
People
yeah,
were like,
exactly,
"This is
so you
like
need to
justify."
continue the claim statement.
Even if it's up, but then this person was like,
But knowing that it needs to continue is the first step.
he's an evil henchman, he loves getting done, and he never even wants to get done.
Honestly, that just sounds
Defend you from
so
so
And it literally, it was just,
Oh, you're
it
still
was
like.
colorful. It was color finding something to
Oh man.
literally,
Okay, so you guys are ready?
because they're actually making excuses.
It doesn't always have that. I mean, it's arguable.
Are those things,
It's not that deep.
it's arguable, but what?
But like, it doesn't give you
seen that
something to argue about. And it's more of like, yeah,
Exactly, going to space and the common cold has nothing connected. If they were two medical
I
things,
like the way he plays.
you can argue about
I was like, him, he's so like,
okay, but you have to do more of the connecting factors.
so athletic.
you need to make it
But it doesn't
obvious.
really like, as much as possible.
Actually, like,
Oh, yes, yes. Oh boy, I love my boy. He has so much potential.
You guys get 2-6? You guys get
It's off.
2-6?
Expect player.
Okay, you guys get 2-6?
What's next?
Chloe, you guys are good to go? Okay.
Favorite player.
Alright guys, let's talk this through. Teachers are posed with many problems today. True or false?
True.
Claim or
True
bad
statement.
claim? Okay, it's a poor claim. Why?
simple sentence.
Okay, thank you. It has a simple, it's too simple. What else?
You can't really expand. Like they don't expand this.
Okay.
You don't know what's gonna be in the rest of the paper.
You don't know what's gonna, yeah, remember we talked about, this academic style of writing shouldn't be suspenseful or mysterious. Okay, your claim statement needs to tell your reader exactly what you're going to discuss in the paper.
Also, it doesn't tell me what.
It's not gonna foreshadow it, it's going to specifically say what you're going to discuss in your paper. So what do we need to do to number one to make it a claim?
You need to tell the reader what the problems are. I think that's like a good way to expand on the sentence and like give you more information about it.
Okay, so the first step is we need what specific problems teachers are facing today. What else do we need? Would it be a good claim if you just listed the 3 problems teachers face today?
No.
No, because
What else needs to come into it, Kennedy?
Because it's not, you're not really taking a stance on it, like what you could do about it or what, you're just kind of saying, yeah. It's
Okay.
like informative, it's not telling you like an argument to like what's going on.
Exactly. It needs an argument in there. Okay? Now, if you were writing an informative paper, remember we talked about how claim statements are different for different genres of writing? If you were just writing a straight